Unit 5 Test Study Guide, the bonus material, the bonus question, part 3. Okay, again, to solve this, you need to find a section where you know 3 of the 4 parts. I'm going to keep going back to this part that they gave me as the original in case I made a mistake. The mistake doesn't mess me up someplace else. I'm going to ignore these 2 rows. And then out of these 4 squares, I know 3 of the pieces of information. So I can find this square now. Alright, so I'm going to again set up a proportion. I am going to start like I've been starting every time. Line equals line. And the information they gave me, I'm going to put in, it's going to be run over bike. And the information again, 2 1/2, 3 1/3, and if I were smart, I would probably have put them in as improper fractions because I've used these about, this is going to be like the 3rd or 4th time now. And then, the other piece of information I know, I'm looking for how much was run when the biking was 8 miles. That's my proportion. So now, to solve it, again, it's going to be run over bike, and I'm going to change them to improper fractions or fractions greater than 1. 2 times 2 is 4 plus the 1, 5 halves. 3 times 3 is 9 plus the 1, 10 thirds. This side still just stays 8, or x over 8. Cross multiply again. I like keeping the x on the left side of my equation, so I'm going to do this first. 10 thirds times x has to equal, going this direction, 5 halves times 8. And again, to multiply fractions, you want to multiply numerator times numerator, denominators times denominators. Well, whole numbers then, you make it look like a fraction. You put a 1 under it so that you have a numerator and a denominator. On this side, you would have 10 thirds x. You just drop the dot. On this side, again, reducing before you multiply. 2 and 8 can both be divided by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 8 divided by 2 is 4. So multiplying 5 times 4, I get 20 over 1. And now I've got an equation to solve. X is being multiplied by 10 thirds. I want to undo that. You undo multiplying by dividing. They're multiplying by 10 thirds. You divide by 10 thirds. And again, whatever you did on this side, do the same over here to show that your equation is still balanced. So divide by 10 thirds. On this side, these reduce. You get 1x or x equals, on this side, write it as division using the line with the 2 dots. So 20 over 1 divided by 10 thirds. Okay, the same way you would read that, 20 over 1 divided by 10 thirds. That's how you write it. And then, you don't really divide with fractions, you multiply by the reciprocal. So, keep dot flip or keep change flip, 20 over 1 times the reciprocal, 3/10. Oh, and that is beautiful because it reduces so nicely. 10 and 20 can both be divided by 10. 10 divided by 10 is 1. 20 divided by 10 is 2. 2 times 3, I get 6. 1 times 1, I get 1. X is 6 over 1, which is 6. Which then means, oh, that was an easy row to do. I've got a 6 here. 6 plus 8. My total then must be 14. I'm going to go ahead and finish this off. All right, then the last row is this top row. The thing is, you've only got a total. I can't do anything with these 4 squares because I only know 2 of the pieces of information. But I can deal with these 4 squares because I know 3 of the pieces of information. I need to use a total that I found. So I'm going to use these 3 and try to find this 1. Okay, so setting up my proportion, now I'm going to have bike, okay, again, start with line equals, sorry, getting way down low here. Start with line equals line, and this time I've got bike to total. That's what I know. I've got 3 1/3 to 5 5/6. And up here, I know the total, which is 21. I'm looking for how much the distance was that was biked. So now there's my proportion. Make these into fractions greater than 1. Three times 3 is 9 plus 1, 10/3. 5 times 6 is 30 plus 5, 35/6. And on this side, that's just x and 21. Well, how about if I make it 21? And then cross multiplying. 35 6 times x has to equal 10/3 times, whoops, this direction, 10/3 times 21. Make 21 look like a fraction. Put a 1 under it. Okay, 35/6, that's just going to be 35/6x equals, over here, reducing before you multiply is a wonderful tool. 3 and 21 can both be divided by 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 21 divided by 3 is 7. So multiplying now, I get 70 over 1. I'm going to leave it that way, even though that is just 70, because I still have to work with the fraction over here, and it's going to help to keep this as a fraction. X is being multiplied by 35/6. You need to get x by itself. Isolating the variable, you undo multiplying by dividing. They're multiplying by 35/6. You divide by 35/6. And again, so whatever you did to this side of the equation, you've got to do the same thing over here to keep it balanced. So divide by 35/6. On this side, these reduce. You get 1x or just x. This side, write it as division using the line with the 2 dots. So it is 70 over 1 divided by 35/6. So divided by 35/6. And then you don't really divide with fractions. You multiply by the reciprocal, or keep dot flip, or keep change flip. 70 over 1 times 6 over 35, and oh, was that lucky. These reduce beautifully. 35 and 70 are both divisible by 35. 35 divided by 35 is 1. 70 divided by 35 is 2. And so now when you multiply, you get 12 over 1, or just 12. And when we fill that into our table, we say this is 12. And now if this is 12, something plus 12 gives me 21, or I could think of it as solving and subtract 12 from 21 to see what this missing piece is over here. Subtract 12 from both sides. Yeah, okay, so whatever. And so that's got to be a 9. 9 plus 12 would give me 21, and I am finished with the bonus problem.